All of these politicians are some of the dirtiest, nastiest, deranged, disgusting, degenerate dogs out there. It gets way worse than just those AI videos that give us a little bit of a sneak peek into the deprived minds of the ruling elites that are truly up to some weird stuff. As, of course, we have another update surrounding the story of the decade that a lot of powerful people just want to go away or to try to cause confusion amongst what the hell actually happened with the Jeffrey Epstein client list. There's a lot of powerful people out there, but there's elements of the media that are now trying to say no. It's the people trying to get transparency here for the thousands of children that were hurt here that are the problem. As Tim Dillon, a comedian here, has been on point, specifically speaking out against this issue in what I would describe as the most honest and correct way. His commentary, especially with what just happened with Chris Cuomo, absolutely incredible. We're going to be playing that clip, going through it point by point, as of course there's a lot to discuss here, as there is an ongoing obfuscation effort that the people of the world will not forget, will not fall for if we are vigilant enough. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, going deep down the rabbit hole in this particular video. And if you appreciate that, and I were reporting on this issue for about 10, 15 years, subscribe. Click the notification button, as of course the latest that we're getting is that Elon Musk actually deleted the tweet of him saying that Donald Trump was on the Epstein list and that we will not be getting the list. He also tweeted and then deleted that he would apologize profusely if the list is released. And so far as Time Magazine is reporting here, where do things stand on the Epstein files? It's all big, I don't know. Yeah. Any timelines? Nope. Any details? Nope. Any kind of descriptions of where or when or how or what? Nope. Just a lot of kind of weird contradictions between the FBI director that's making statements saying, oh yeah, there's really no videos here, and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, saying thousands of videos, including the witch of show Epstein with small children. But now they don't exist. And again, we've been raising the red flags here, the red alarms here, for a while, saying specifically the fact that there's no timeline, there's no description here, the fact that now federal agents are trying to change the dialogue from who was on that list to if Epstein met his demise or not. That right there, I'm like, whoa. Why are we rehashing old debates that have already been settled? Why are we going back and created these type of artificial controversies that take away from the real discussion, which is who was on that list? Why are they still out there? Why are so many powerful people still that hurt children in our mainstream, mainline political system? That's the issue. What compromise is there on them? What information do they have on them? What type of compromise being utilized right now? That's what the American people want to know, because they want a clean system. They want a good system. They want a system that actually represents them and not predators out there. As of course, even Elon Musk himself, that has been speaking out against the Epstein list, according to Business Insider, had his brother hooked up by Jeffrey Epstein, according to some sources. Elon Musk also met with Jeffrey Epstein in 2011 with other heads of Silicon Valley, by the way. And then there's talks about Peter Thiel, another big-time insider to this administration with connections to Palantir that Tim Dillon also spoke about in a very interesting way. We'll get to those clips in a little bit here. But I think the most disingenuous take of this matter is done by Chris Cuomo. And I think either he is an idiot or he's being paid off here. Either or, it's not a good look for him, as of course he started off his conversation with Tim Dillon by talking about how people are just on the fringe, spreading conspiracy. And again, this whole thing from the very beginning. I remember talking about this, and they're like, "Oh, you think there's an island? You're crazy. You think that elites go to like special secret locations and they hurt small children? You're insane. You're crazy people. You think elites coalesce together and secretly collaborate to help themselves out? You're crazy." All of that has been true, and we've been verified to be true. And now, again, this gaslighting, this type of emotional low IQ manipulation attempt by Chris Cuomo here absolutely failed in the face of Tim Dillon that slapped him upside the head with some reality that, of course, made him actually agree to Tim's point and disagree with his original dissertation, which is this.
Why is it that people on the fringe right seem to engage in conspiracies more? Is it a coincidence that Benny Johnson and Charlie Kirk are more interested in the Epstein files? Is it a coincidence that Rogan was, talking so much about Epstein killing himself versus being murdered? Why do we hear more of that?
Why do we keep hearing about people having questions about a known extortion, racketeering, compromise operation? Why do we want to know when the corporate media, the big banks, Silicon Valley, we're all involved here? Why do we want to know? It's fringe conspiracy theories. It's not conspiracy theories. It's people trying to get to the bottom of how the system truly operates. And I think mentioning and talking about how Epstein and a lot of the bigger players above him were essentially calling a lot of the shots here. And guess what? They're still calling the shots here. But before getting into that, playing the rest of the clip, because I thought Tim Dillon's response here was brilliant. Before getting into his response, we wanted to tell you about LukeUnfiltered.com. We got a lot of great things in the works for our members. Signing up is quick, it's easy, it's simple, except for when you got to check your spam. Just check your spam for your login credentials. Click the link down in the description below. When you do that, you go here and you sign up for whatever you could afford. We appreciate your generosity, and we do a lot of things to give back to you. We are going to be doing a special range day. We are going to be doing a special meetup in Wisconsin just for members of LukeUnfiltered.com. And again, we did it a few days ago. We're going to do it again in South Florida on July 20th. And then July 9th, with the quartering, we're doing another meetup in Wisconsin. To be a part of those meetups, to be a part of that range day, sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com. And then by doing so, you get to, of course, participate in this independent media organization. I talked to members. I made sure yesterday that I was in the chat room, that I was responding to people's questions and chats. I still have some questions that some people asked me that I'm going to be playing in this particular video. And truly, it's our own secret, not so secret society where we kind of do everything very publicly. and anyone and everyone is welcome to join here. We have a very wild group of people that are always extremely interesting to meet up and hang out with. People from all walks of life, people from all different demographics. It's really cool being able to meet like-minded individuals that are just so unique. That's one way of saying it. Lots of women come out to this thing too, which is surprising because, of course, a lot of people are missing that kind of social interaction. A lot of people are missing this type of community. We try to build that on LukeUnfiltered.com. We try to make people understand you're not alone. There's a lot more people out there. I was hanging out with somebody, and we were doing like meditations and going out in nature, and they were so like black people. They're like, everyone's dumb, everyone's stupid. Actually, you'll be surprised when the meetups happen. So many people come out, and you're like, wow, I never would have thought this person would have been so smart or been so intelligent, would have been in the know like me. And it's really just a major white pill moment. The range days are super fun. The meetups are super fun too. So July 9th, come out. July 20th, come out. All of those events are available to you as members of LukeUnfiltered.com. So sign up. We're going to have limited seating for some of them, so make sure that you are there. Now, let's get back to this Tim Dillon response here, because I thought it was great, and I think it's important because this former CNN propagandist really just spewing idiocy. Like, it's just nonsense. How dare you have a conspiracy theory? It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact that small children were used to get compromise on very powerful people in our world. And guess what? those people still haven't been held accountable, and they're still calling a lot of the shots here.
On the right.
I think there's people on the fringe left, if you remember, and I listen, I think Epstein probably was murdered. I mean, I don't think
Based
there's
on what?
Oh, based on what? I'm going by Johnny here. What do you mean, based on what? You idiot. The guy had his neck broken in 3 different places, okay? He had like clear signs around his neck. If that was even him, out of so many circumstantial things and incidences and events that lined up to the biggest security failure of all freaking time here. The guy had paper towels for bed sheets, and somehow he used that and was able to break his neck in 3 parts, which is inconsistent of that specific type of hanging off of a 6-foot type of bed frame.
Well, based on the idea that the cameras went out and the guards fell asleep, and he had information on some of those most powerful people in the world, and his best friend, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, the Seymour Hersh, wrote a book alleging that he was an agent of the Mossad, and they had what clearly seems like a honeypot operation, and that all of these politicians were on his jet. Like, it feels like, again, just from an outsider's point of view, he got a sweetheart deal for the first time he was accused and convicted of being inappropriate with a minor. And I don't know the exact terminology. He did a lot more than be inappropriate with a minor. But you have this intriguing, weird figure who's connected to all of these very powerful people and has an island where people are going to meet up with underage women, and all of these people are coming out and testifying to that effect.
And babies and children. People forget about that part.
And then right before his trial, he dies. I mean, Chris, let's be honest. If we're talking about the mafia and we're talking about a guy that had information on all of these big, powerful people, and he gets whacked, does not a part of your brain, and I'm, Kirk or Johnson or Rogan or whoever, me or anybody who's looking at this, and people on the left and the fringe left also has some conspiracies.
This is a good point that Tim Dillon made here, that Goomba Johnny could understand here, because he's a big little sausage head here, okay? The big sausage head is like, listen, think of this if this was your Uncle Vinny, okay? Think of this as if this was the mafia here, Mr. Goomba. Oh, they whacked the guy, yeah, because he had dirt on the boss. Duh. Now we're just trying to figure out who the boss is, and we need to know since so many people are involved here. And again, the left had a lot of fringe conspiracy theories that never were called out, never were really kind of addressed, never really were dealt with, and that were more unhinged, based off no facts or reality at all, as Tim Dillon explains.
One of them was that Donald Trump was an agent of Russia. And by the fringe left, I mean every media organization, including the one you used to work for, every day was Russiagate. So to me, it's like, don't you look at the Epstein thing and for a minute say to yourself, yes, it is possible that this guy who is involved in potentially blackmailing people, but certainly involved in human trafficking and connected to all these wealthy, powerful people, gets whacked before he can say any of their names?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's very curious.
Oh, now the wheels are turning in Mr. Goomba Johnny, wannabe Johnny Bravo. Now the wheels are turning. All right. He got the meatball out of his mouth for a second there, and he started to just look. You see a little light bulb break above his head here. As Benny Johnson, who was named here, responded, saying, Chris Cuomo name-dropped me, Charlie Kirk, Joe Rogan, spearing us as conspiracy theorists and extremists for demanding the Epstein files and the truth behind what happened to his demise here. Tim Dillon went scorched earth in response. Straight gut punch. Watch. Yeah, absolutely. Great job, Tim Dillon here, who also had a very interesting reaction to the FBI Director Kash Patel and his handling of this entire matter and situation, which I thought was also very important to kind of look at here. As of course, we could either laugh or cry here, and at least there's a little bit of laughter here. But I think Tim Dillon's kind of natural raw reaction here is what a lot of us are feeling.
Here's Kash Patel talking about why they can't put the Epstein stuff out because it will re-victimize the women.
We're not going to re-victimize women.
The hell does that mean? What do you mean re-victimize them? What are you talking about? You can help them. You can help them. See, I can't even help them myself. I'm already having a reaction. You can help them get justice, right? I think if the women that are victimized by, let's just say, hypothetically, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and all these other, Reid Hoffman, let's just say a person who was, porked non-consensually by predators that are powerful out there, you think naming them and holding them accountable would re-victimize the victims? Get the hell out of here. What are you talking about? Pisses me off. Like, what the hell's going on? We're not re-victimizing anything. We want the truth. We want justice. We want accountability. Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, allegedly, hypothetically. Okay. According to my own personal opinion. Don't sue me.
What? We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening because then he wins. Not doing it.
Hold on. Stop that for a minute. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Why wouldn't you just blur the victim?
If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies.
But there is.
And I'm in charge. Don't you think you'd see it?
Yes, but that's why everyone's confused.
Yes.
Pam Bondi said there were videos. She's the attorney general. She goes, there's hundreds of hours of video. That's a quote from Pam. Get the Pam Bondi quote up about the videos. There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn, and there are hundreds of victims.
Yes.
So that's Pam Bondi. Now let's go to Cash Patel, who goes, so if there were things, let's go. Cash Patel, everyone.
If there was a video, don't you think you'd see it?
If you have access to it.
If I have it, period.
Right.
If I have it.
You got it? Where it is? Where is it?
Where else would it be?
Where is it?
If you have it.
Right.
Right.
But you can't say that you have
This
it.
is who's on first. Get up the famous joke, who's on first.
Yeah, absolutely. People, it's bewildering. It's crazy, and I think it's pretty clear. We know what happened here. I think it's pretty clear that we understand that there's probably orders from top down, maybe even from Donald Trump. That's why Elon Musk kind of let's just be in a real war with ourselves. That says don't release it. We're not going to do anything with this. Or there's someone above Donald Trump, because that's the only explanation here that could explain Cash Patel's kind of very weird, awkward behavior here. Okay, there's no other explanation other than the top dog, or someone that we don't know is the bigger dog in our whole system that's saying, yeah, we're not going to hold those people accountable for forcing themselves on small children. We're just not. What? Are you kidding me? And there's a lot of people involved here. I thought what Tim Dillon had to say about Palantir and Peter Thiel was very interesting, as we also just found out recently. Jeffrey Epstein invested in Peter Thiel, something that is now estimated to be worth over $200 million value. That was donated from and given to Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel also raking in millions and having an involvement not just in PayPal, not just in a lot of other big tech social media enterprises, but also Palantir. As this was another interesting kind of eye-opening statement from Tim Dillon here that talked about how this whole Palantir thing is weird, as they're probably buying people up. And he discussed how he was specifically invited to dinners at Peter Thiel's house to discuss media and culture.
If you have not one reservation about what's going on over there, I'm not saying you have to feel one way or another way, but if you don't have any if you have no reservations about what's happening with all these kids getting killed, I don't know, I can't trust you. If you don't have any reservations about Palantir taking everyone's information, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you. I think they're buying people left and right. This is my guess.
Yeah. Listen, from my sources and everything I know, that absolutely is going on here. That's the crazy part of it all. No one really talks about it, but now, the corporate media was bought and sold. Now there's special interests going directly to the source of a lot of these kind of independent content creators. And they're saying, listen, we want sugary sodas to be a part of SNAP benefits. You're going to support that? You will? How much? $1,000 for one post? You got it. Boom. Who's the check that I write out to? The comment here by Edie on it's pretty spot on, saying, I trust this HOMO as much, so much, I'll get naked and bend over in front of him. Listen, out of all the people, comedians, Tim Dillon's a real one. for talking about this stuff. Let's give him credit where credit is due.
They try to buy me my pussy.
He says his vagina's expensive.
I get invited to these dinners. I don't go. I've been invited to Thiel's house multiple times for dinner. I don't go. It's no shade at them or whatever, you know? The reason I don't go is I remember one dinner, they're like, we'd like to discuss the media. I go, what? No, thanks. We'd like to discuss dinner. We discuss the media and culture. No, thanks. Appreciate it. That's fine. Don't need a. Here's what I'm doing every week. I'm discussing the media. Hey, good news. I have a show. You can listen to it.
Yep. And then he goes on. There's a lot of people that do take those type of meetings. There's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I'll go. Sure. Oh, how much are you worth? How much? Oh, okay, cool. Fair to say here, based on our reporting, you know where we stand. You know I'm still hungry because I don't get no dinners. I don't want dinners. I'm fine. I'll make my own because of you and your support, specifically on lukeunfiltered.com. I appreciate you guys that, and again, seriously, like there's been big institutions that are like, we're going to come on in, we're going to give you a bunch of money. And I'm like, yeah, but what strings does that come with? Oh, this one, that one. But don't worry, it'll be fine. You'll still get to save most of it. I'm like, get the hell out of here. We're fully independent. We're not supported by anyone but you. And our vitamins shop and our events. LukeUnfiltered.com. We appreciate your support more than ever. It's needed now more than ever. We can't thank you enough because of that. Thank you so much for subscribing, being a part of this independent media organization. Be a part of the newsroom where we talk about the news, all on LukeUnfiltered.com. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.